But come that 79, when I catch the bodies and attempts, my daddy spend money, get my cases knocked down, get to one of the key witnesses, which was one of my homeboys who worked at the school, because they booked me for occupant dwelling too, because I shot at like about 30, 40 something Great Streets. Everybody who was coming from the Jordan Downs, I blast on them at the school. So they booked me for that shit too.
Wow.
And so my daddy spent a lot of money for my case, and I ended up with 5 years. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I ended up going to YA. And then from YA, I got out and I caught that HK case and went in. That was my first prison term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But so when does your mind state start to kind of change and you start to realize that you don't want to just keep going back and forth like this?
Well, for me, one thing about me was I hated the system, Adam. I hate doing time. So that's why I always stayed smart to not do time. Even though I knew I was doing some of the most devious crimes out here, I did them to get away.
Right.
That's why I had blueprints. A lot of my peers would tell you, if he going on a robbery, he going to get some real money. I'm going with B. Because he ain't going to do no random robbery. That going to have a plan, in and out. That was me. That was my reputation. That was my MO. And then basically back then was, you know, me and a few of my other homies, like my homie I mentioned, and rest in peace, from Miller Gangsters and other cats, you know, our MOs, you know, we were like the D-boy jackers of the city. We was knocking down fools with that had them things. That was my MO. I'm going to get that money. If I'm going to go get some, I'm finna go over here and get this fool sitting on 50 or 20 or 30 birds. Or at least 200,000-300,000 cash. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna go take some from some cat who only got 5,000 and a few ounces. Nah, man, let him live. Let that man breathe.
Right.
So that was just my mentality of it. So then moving along, after about going through my out-of-town experiences for about a decade, taking me out of the 80s, going into the 90s, basically once I jumped into the 90s, 1992 was my pivoting. That's when I decided, Adam, okay, hold on, man. What am I going to do for the rest of my life and with my life where I can achieve certain things and become successful? Because I know I'm starting to feel I'm bigger than this gang. I'm bigger than this D-boy shit, man. You know what I'm saying? It started changing my thoughts. Because now, you know, I've always traveled. Because my mother and father, like I say, my father had us everywhere. He would take us out on family outings. So this is why my teaching was there, where I know how to get on a plane. I can take a bus, a train, a car. Give me an atlas map. I don't need no damn Google. Give me an atlas map. Right now today, I can read an atlas map. Because this was the teaching embedded in me. So I knew how to get out places. My homies wouldn't lead the projects. I would take them chances. I would go to the west side, kick it with the Brims, the 20s, the rolling 20 neighborhoods. So when I started opening up spots, I had spots like that in other hoods. So I had other bloods running their hoods through me. You feel me? So when I got to that level, to the point where I really, really started feeling, like I said, in 1992, I got called up on to represent my hood and became one of the main advocates for the 1992 Peace Treaty.
And how did that conversation start?
Huh?
How did that conversation come together about the Peace Treaty?
I'm glad you asked that, for the record too, man. By the way, the Peace Treaty, when people speak about Los Angeles Peace Treaty, like especially out of town or, you know, just the outside, right? And I want to put clarification on that. The Peace Treaty never started from Los Angeles, Adam. The creation started in the beginning on the Hill at the White House, at Jim Brown House, through multiple individuals throughout Los Angeles, from the 60s, the Jungles, rest in peace, the homie, late great T. Rogers, brother by the name of Daru Sherrills, his brother Akita Sherrills out of the Jordan Downs, my big homies, Gush, rest in peace, Big Hank, Donnie Boy. They was the representatives during the time under the underground movement. Snipe, Dwayne Holmes, somebody of the PJs, Sister, Mother Teresa. So they were the bridge. They were the undergrounds who put this in the mix as far as a concept. It was just a concept first. Now the concept, they took it to Jim Brown House thinking that we could bring the whole entire city to peace with stop gangs, which was a beautiful concept, but it wasn't gonna work. It was too many fucking deaths occurring every single day. How you gonna stop that?
Yeah.
How you gonna stop a person from mourning who just got killed yesterday? You can't go in their hood and tell them, hey man, let's put the guns down, let's cease fire. You got to have a plan. You got to have a strategic blueprint and a game plan. So the smartest thing that ever could have happened, and I always give this dude his props, I always give him his props because it's the truth, was the meetings was being held at the White House. They called me one day. I go up to the White House. Now me, I'm active still. I'm solely active at this time. Mm-hmm. So I go to the White House, and I see, whoa, okay.
It must have been quite a culture shock for you.
Bro, listen, when you said, you at Jim Brown house, this successful football hero millionaire, but you seeing all kind of your enemies from Los Angeles in Jim Brown house. Shot callers. I'm talking about from the big U's on up.
Must have been insane.
Feel me? Real talk. So you see these kind of cats here, the Peter Wax, you know what I'm saying, me, the Comptons, and then you got the, over here, the Batmans, the East Coast, this everybody, this representatives from their hood. Uh-huh. And I'm tripping off the shit because I'm still in my active mode. And I really don't, I ain't tripping on no Jim Brown like that. Like, it's cool, but I ain't fascinated with Jimmy like that. Uh-huh. Because again, my mind is so well advanced, and so many of these cats in this room, they don't have the slightest idea the money we can get out of this situation with our power and our leadership.
Right.
But I do. So I became one of the spokesmen. So now it's like, being that way though, you're a threat. Because now you're going to be in the way from the overall attention of what the real people want to do. They can't perceive their power now because you're going to wake them up. You're going to wake your people up. So I became a threat. So a lot of the meetings that was held, I wasn't there because I'm still on my D-boy thing out of towns and shit, so I ain't there. Mm-hmm. So the brother Dawu Sherrill came up with this concept, Adam, and he said, because the last meeting that was held, T. Rogers and a couple of his homeboys and one of the homies from the Booyah tribe, they got into a real massive argument with the Baby Lokes. And the Baby Lokes was finna go there with niggas at Jim Brown house. So they had to stop that, break it up. One of the homies, Twilight Bay from Circle City, they had to break that up. So from there, Dawu said, man, this ain't gonna work. It's too many heads, it's too many different chiefs, it's too many different characters, this ain't gonna work. So he told his brother, he said, man, if we could just spearhead Watts, if we could just spearhead our community of Watts, and it bring a domino effect to the whole city because we're the umbrella, we're the hub of Los Angeles. And that was the smartest concept he could have came up with.